eendag, lang gelede, was daar 'n boer wat sy vrou vir hom gesê het, jy moet kies 'n Jeep of 'n bakkie, maar nie al twee nie. Dit was donker dae, hartseer tye. Maar toe breek daar 'n dag aan waarin hy die genot van al twee in een kon hê. Nou dit was 'n wonderlike dag. Dit was 'n heerlike dag. Totdat hy vergeet het waar hy sy deure gebêre het.
Liefie! Waar is my fucking deure?
Dis in die bakkie.
Wat's 'n fucking bakkie?
Die Jeep Bakkie.
Ah ja, die Jeep Bakkie. Nou, dis 'n ding. Dis 'n lekker ding hierdie.
But gents, just a quick disclaimer before I say anything. My voice is not what it should be because I'm freezing my puss off and I'm very, very sick. So I'll try and make this as short as possible. So first things first. Yeah, we are, gents. The Gladiator. Do you know how long I've been waiting to drive this Jeep? You cannot even know how long I've been waiting. Which brings me to my first point. Jeep South Africa. Who is the CEO? Because what clown waited so long to bring a Jeep Bakkie to South Africa? Hello? Hello? I mean, are you joking? Why am I driving this almost 2 years after it was released in the United States? So an American watching this now is like, yo, dude, like, I mean, it's just a Gladiator, like, come on, man, fuck. No, bro, it's not just a Gladiator. It's a bakkie, my chummy. It's a bakkie that should have been in Africa somewhere a long time ago. And here I am, years later, driving it. Which brings me to my second point, okay? And I raised this when I test drove the Ford Ranger Raptor and that 2-liter bi-turbo with 150 kilowatts. And I said, when that was launched in South Africa, you know what that needed? It needed a V8 or a V6. And after driving this Gladiator, absolutely confirmed, correct. That Raptor is underpowered, and until you drive this V6, it's just so hard to put words to. It feels so much better to drive a big bakkie with V6 power, my boy. And everyone said about that Raptor, oh, yeah, no, I mean, it's more than enough. It's more than enough. Do you really, all right? Do you really want your girlfriend to go and talk to her friends and say, oh, he's more than enough. It's more than reasonable in bed. No. You want her to go to her friends and say, yeah, see, that thing's lekker, my boy. And this Rubicon 3.6, which we know all too well in so many Jeeps of yesteryear, it works, my boy. And it works seriously well. Now, spoiler alert, the new Ranger Raptor has taken a leaf out of this book. It is coming with a V6 and some 90 more kilowatts in this, so that's going to be seriously interesting. So that's going to be a battle for the ages. But truthfully speaking, the real question in this whole thing is this, okay? Is this a good bakkie? Okay? Is it a good bakkie hier op die plaas? Well, I don't think you can get a bad bakkie. But the reality is, and I'm a Jeep owner, I own 2 Jeeps. The reality is Jeeps are cool when you've got the money to put all the toys on them. As an outright bakkie, this is too expensive. This is a Jeep that happens to be a bakkie. It's not a bakkie that happens to be a Jeep. So in terms of being a Jeep lover, and all of the Jeep attributes, the taking off the doors, the feeling, the Jeep essence, it's absolutely magnificent. And if you love Jeep, you're going to love this bakkie. But if you want yourself a bakkie, I mean, you can get a 2x4 FX4 for half the price. For a third of the price, you can get a Mahindra Karoo bakkie. And in so many ways, those are going to be real bakkies. The oak who buys this, my bro, the oak who buys this loves Jeep. That's who buys a Gladiator. Follow. And as you can see, everything that you need. Sway bar disconnect, diff locked front and rear only. You know, the romance of 4x4ing with a manual gearbox is a romance that I love. But with an automatic box like this, you can just see the advantages. It really is just easy. Life's really, really easy with it. There's no doubt about that. I do love the Jeep toys. Hier, bo op my plaas. Hier in my Jeep Gladiator. Is ek reg of is ek nie? Has there been a more enjoyable bakkie in South Africa to drive than this? Surely not. Surely not. If anyone is unsure about Jeep as a brand, as a car, as a vehicle, know this, guys. There's a reason they call it a Jeep track and not a Toyota track, okay, or a Ford track. It's called a Jeep track. And once you drive a Jeep, you'll understand why. The overwhelming desire to go off-road when you drive a Jeep is almost overpowering. You don't want to drive around dams, you want to drive through dams. You don't want to drive around mountains, you want to drive over them. And it's something within the DNA in these very bones, and it just sort of squeezes its way into your soul. It's hard to describe. There's a reason they call it a Jeep track. Don't test this out. Seriously. If you've got 1.2 million to spend and you're unsure, this thing just might convince you.